vegetables, wind them together, and you get the two colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. On my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat them. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly. Stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in two. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a big piece like that. Now the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this. Drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast while they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam or cream them. In making the original French fried potato, cut them in thick slices. Put them one on top of each other. Cross-cut the slices, and you'll never eat a French fry any other way. The potatoes cut like this will not absorb the fat because they're garnished around. Pineapples cut for your pineapple and cheese salad, cut them the same way. Here is one, and this is a dandy. Cuts any thickness or any size. Open it for a thick slice, close to the top for a thin slice. Saratoga chips, you can make them for 3 or 4 pennies a pound. Just pull the blade towards you like this. If you want the slices thicker than this, open the blade, there's a thick slice. Shoestrings for your Friday fish dinner, cut them down like this. Chop them up for your vegetable soup. What this knife is really intended for is for cutting the cabbage. You know the old-fashioned board, how you rip and tear, sometimes nipping the ends off your fingers. Lay it flat and pull it lightly towards you over the cabbage. The weight of the knife across the cabbage is all that's necessary. Why, ladies, when you get slaw cut as fine as this, you'll certainly appreciate eating it. The crowning feature of the set is the cutter that I'm going to show you now. This is known as the Champeen Vegetable Mincing Knife and Noodle Cutter. Now, when you want to make some real fine noodles at home, you roll the dough out like this. Dip this into a little flour so it doesn't stick to the dough, and as you roll it over the dough, that will cut the noodles in long strips 10 at a time. Did you ever try to chop up a little nuts for cake? Well, I've seen ladies chop nuts and the nuts land up on the ceiling. Sometimes you chop the ends off your fingers. When you want to chop up a little nuts for cake, cooked meat, clams for chowder, soup greens to throw into your soup, making a little pepper or chicken hash is just a few strokes rolling it up and down. Why, here is without a doubt the meanest thing in the world to cut parsley. Put that in a grinder, you really grind it too fine. This machine, instead of crushing the parsley, cuts it quick, clean, and dry, leaving every bit of the juice and every bit of the flavor. Now, to clean this machine, you press the button. Rinse it out in a little water. When you're through using it, hang it up and let it dry. Here's one here that every lady should have in her home, known as the Parisian scoop. You lay it flat, once to the right, once to the left. When you scoop them out, you'll get a perfect round little ball. You can pot roast these, cut them out of cheese or cut them out of butter. When you're serving a fruit cocktail in the summertime, take your fresh cantaloupe, scoop them out like this, mix them with apples, pears, and watermelons, makes a delicious fruit cocktail served with a little cracked ice like you see here. But here are the two ladies, it bet you'll thank the day you've seen this demonstration. When you press, it locks. It's like a pair of human hands. Reach in the oven and take the biscuits out of the oven. Ever take the hot potatoes out of the oven and burn yourself on the elbow? A roast chicken out of the oven, a piece of meat out of the pot, spinach, asparagus out of the water. Why, around canning season when you're preserving the fruits, to take the hot fruit jars out of the water like that, that machine is worth dollars to you. And here's another one that I really know you'll enjoy having in your kitchen, known as the safety grater. No doubt you're familiar with the old-fashioned grater. I've seen ladies take a grater and rip the knuckles off. When you want to grate up potatoes for delicious potato pancakes, this has a smooth, flat edge, impossible to cut yourself. Just like you were washing clothes, you rub it up and down, and you really grate your vegetables real fine, retaining all the flavors and all the juices. Breadcrumbs for when you're serving veal cutlets or anything like that. You want a little breadcrumbs to fry your fish in? Why, there's the greatest proposition in the world. Use that for coconut, cheese, or horseradish. When you're through with it, just heat it down like that. That knocks all the food out. Rinse it out in a little water and hang it up and let it dry. Now, here is a stone made of carborundum and sapphire quartz, which is made purposely to keep these knives sharp. When they get dull, a few strokes over the edge like this, and you can put a keen cutting edge on it. If you have a dull knife or a dull pair of scissors, an old sickle or a scythe, a lawnmower, cleaver, an axe, there's a tool that will really put an edge on the knife so the knife will really cut for you. I just want to give you an idea of how sharp that knife really is when you sharpen it with that stone. Ladies, I've seen some of you try to open up cans. Now, there's a can of Campbell's baked beans. I've seen ladies open up a can and you poke a hole in it, go around the top, hippity-hop, and your finger slips. Let me show you a real proposition. Look, lay it on the can, lift up the safety, and turn the key. That locks itself on the can. No harder than you were winding up your watch. Wind up the key and that'll cut the top off of the can slick and smooth. Notice how the end raises itself up in the air so you can lift the lid off, giving you a clean, smooth edge. Now that can be used for sardine cans, square cans or round cans, exactly the same way. Now this tool here, my dear friends, needs no introduction. This will save you on an average of $20 to $30 every year you use it as a peeling knife. Here's a grater for cheese, coconut, or horseradish, a fish scaler for scaling your fish, and when you're coring your apple, it's just a slight twist of the wrist, and there's the apple core. There's one more tool that I want you to see, and I want you to watch this one very closely. Many a times when you're baking a pie, you have a pudding in the oven. I've seen ladies wrap a towel around your hand, and many a times you burn your fingers. Hook this onto the pot like this and lift the hot pots off the top of the stove. You've got a pie pan in the oven. Catch a hold of the pie pan like this. Why, you couldn't get it off with a team of horses. This will positively lift 100 pounds. There's a pail of water weighs 50 or 60 pounds. That's the way you pick it up. But there's one more tool. I'll be all through and I'll be finished. Oh, now the next tool and the last one is what they call the Sarah Bernhardt cutter. This was invented by the head chef of the Imperial Hotel in the city of Berlin, Germany. You place the screw into the center of the vegetable. Twist the vegetable until the threads catch a hold, then you wind this up. You keep winding until you utilize the whole potato. The faster you turn, the quicker the slices. Why, ladies, here's a machine for slicing onions. The first onion that you slice with this cutter, you'll bless the day you've got a hold of it. Every slice cut exactly the same thickness. Every slice cut the same size. In making what they call a rosette, pull the vegetable out like this. Pin the ends together with a toothpick, Drop that potato into the hot fat and fry it. That will come out like a donut, golden brown. If you're serving a nice fish dinner, a little parsley goes in the center with the fish all around it, makes a very appetizing dish. Did you ever try to slice onions with a knife? You know how you get one thick slice and one thin slice? Run the knife through the center. That will separate each slice individual. Almost like magic, there is every slice cut exactly the same thickness and the same size. Wouldn't you like to have a set like this in your kitchen? Why, of course you would. Now don't forget, attend this theater every week and receive this 12-piece fascinating... Ladies and gentlemen, the management of this theater takes great pleasure in making this announcement. To each lady attending this theater each week, will receive absolutely free a fascinating 12-piece kitchen cutlery set, one piece each time. It is really interesting and amazing to know how you can prepare your meals in an appetizing and pleasing manner. There's an old saying, and a true one, that what is pleasing to the eye is bound to be pleasing to the appetite. I'm going to demonstrate this set to you, and I want you to watch it very closely. The first cutter that I'm going to show you, now this first one is known as the Parisian cutter. Wind it through the potato like a corkscrew. When the cutter appears on the opposite side, pull the cutter out. Place the handle in the center and twist it out. This is what they call a French curl. When you fry these, they come out like donuts, nice and brown. Serve them with your steaks or pot roast them. Unwind it, there's 2 curls out of the 1 potato. Tomorrow morning for breakfast, wind a little strip of bacon around the potato and serve them with bacon and eggs. They're delicious. Different colored vegetables, wind them together and you get the 2 colors. Here's a little trick cut. Split the curl halfway through the center. If you're making a shrimp salad and you happen to run short of shrimp, mix these in with the regular shrimp. On my word, you couldn't tell the difference until you start to eat them. Now the rest of the potato, you stuff it. We'll call this a little chicken. We'll call this here some hamburger. You might have a little meat that's been laying in the ice box for a few days. Chop the meat up fine, season it highly, stuff it into the center of the potato and bake them with the skins on. When they're done, cut them in 2. Serve them on the half shell, just like that. Serve them in slices when company calls. The more company you have, the thinner you cut the slices. If your mother-in-law calls, give her a beak piece like that. Now, the second tool in the set is known as the garnishing knife. Everything you cut with this must come out fancy. Watch this, please. You cut down, you turn the potato, and then you cut through the edge. First one way, and then the other. Sweet potatoes cut like this, drop them into a little batter of pancake flour and fry them. When they're golden brown, sprinkle molasses on them. Serve them with strips of bacon for breakfast. Why, they're delicious. Here's beets, you pickle them, and carrots, you steam.
Evening, everyone. How we doing tonight? What's new? What's happening? Gonna be an interesting dinner tonight. Though it's all sort of one pot in here tonight. Welcome in, Leah. How you doing tonight? Yeah. So let's get started. Actually, I got some beans back here on the stove already. These have been soaking overnight. We're gonna get those starting to warm up. Those are just barely out of the fridge. Hey, Tahiti lady. Welcome in. So we got those started. And actually, I'm going to move those over to this side over here. put you over here, because that's going to be the main star of the night. Turn you down a little bit. Let's grab ourselves some sausages. I'm going to start by searing some sausage. We'll move on to doing bacon, or rather pork belly that I have left over. Or not left over. How can you have leftover pork belly? Wow, quite the echo there. Thank you for that sub, Chocolate for Healing. Appreciate that. Welcome into the brigade. How you doing this evening? So we got a decent heat going on here. Let's add a little oil to the pan since we're just searing the outsides here. But other than the cassoulet tonight, we have, if you guys aren't familiar, I'm doing cassoulet on the stovetop before we get into explaining things. And so it's normally a product that's baked, and I've done baked cassoulet on stream before, back mixer days. But I thought I'd change things up and do it on the stovetop tonight. Well, appreciate you stopping by, Chocolate for Healing. I know you lurk around quite a bit, and I appreciate it. I'm quite the lurker myself. I mean, it's not the easiest to sit here and type when I'm hanging out in the kitchen. So, yeah, thank you. In fact, I've got a whole separate setup that I got going on here whenever I actually want to seriously do computer work. Hey, Lexi. Welcome back. How you doing tonight? I'll actually use my cutting board. What I typically do, I'll actually show you guys. We'll turn this guy this way so that the dish rack takes up less space. I take my cutting board and put it over here and create like a small desk, and that way I can put my cutting board, my keyboard actually on my cutting board. My mouse is right here. I can actually do computer stuff here, but that's more of a when I'm not cooking or cleaning or when things aren't a mess in here is what I can do. But on a regular basis, that doesn't really happen. Our pan's getting pretty decently hot back here. I'm starting to smell that oil a little bit. So why don't we add our sausages in. This same pack of sausages, I threw them in the freezer after I used the first one. But I forget what I used it for, but I used a single sausage like a week and a half ago. We also got this beautiful piece of pork belly left over from our pig. So that's what we're going to work with here while that sausage is searing. I did put a flame over the beans, that's good. We don't want that to be high flame this entire time though. So this is one of the 2 slabs of belly that I made out of that pig that I didn't cure. I didn't treat like bacon at all. That is just straight pork belly right now. You know, look at those sausages for a moment, and we'll go over the board here. And I just defrosted this. So let's see what we got. Using my other knife tonight, because I actually went and sharpened things yesterday. Let's see if we got any meat and all in this half over here. Not much. Make sure we don't got any. Yeah. Well, we still got meat going. Oh, we still got meat in that last piece there. Take that off. This is also a dish traditionally done with some pork skin. Unfortunately, I didn't get any pork skin with this pig when I bought it. I did intend to get pork skin, but we were in early COVID times, and so they were actually skinning all the animals that they were harvesting at that point. So this is all, that could be good and rendered. I still have lard that I haven't dealt with from that pig, and so that's going to go to waste for me. But if you want to take the time to render it, that's some great fat there. And meantime, we're just going to chop this into decently small sized pieces that will get some nice crispy crunchy going when we render them like lardons. And we're going to be using a lot of this belly tonight. I don't know why I'm sawing at this. It's a relatively sharp knife now. It's not the sharpest. I didn't go all the way to the finest grit that I have. Actually, I spent most of the time on this guy because I actually got most of it out. You can still see a slight burr right there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera, if it picks up or not. Yeah, you can see a little roughness right there in between those two there. I think it was right there. No, it's right there. I had a pretty good nick in this guy. And so I spent a decent amount of time, like, just basically filing it down to make it usable. Ooh, we got a chipped bone here. Oops. There we go. So I think I'm going to save that for some upcoming whatevers. The rest of this is going into this beans dish. So I think it's time to flip these guys. They've been sitting here for a little while. I think it's also time to close my bedroom door. And turn on the fan. No, Leah, this is definitely not kosher. See, that's more what I'm thinking with a sharp knife. Just going through it like it's butter. Kosher salt's good because it's all sized the same size, typically. And so it's easy to know how much salt you have in your hand compared to fine salt or anything else. Hey 3NZ, how you doing tonight? Ooh. Awesome. So that is first project down. What do I want to hold these in while we're waiting? Oh, it's up there. Messing up my new sorting system already. I got that new wire rack over here during the holidays, and so I'm sort of rearranging stuff here. And yeah. It's just a chunk of fat. That's mostly a chunk of fat too. Got a little wine tonight. Traditionally you use a white wine with Cassoulet, especially with a white bean. We're not doing that. I didn't buy a special bottle of wine just for tonight. So we are drinking a special bottle of wine tonight. Hey Ratty Webs, how you doing today? We are having a quite nice bottle of wine that I've had a couple times before. This usually, I think it's like an 18-bucker. I usually get them a little cheaper than that, but it's a little bit more than 10 bucks. It's sort of their of the wines that Coppola does. Francis Ford Coppola, if you guys aren't familiar, famous director. This is sort of like their mid-grade supermarket wine. They, of course, have all sorts of specialty wines and stuff like that if you go to their vineyards. He also has multiple vineyards. But this is sort of like of the Coppola supermarket blends. This is sort of like the mid-range one. I don't like the diamond ones, or at least the ones that I've tried. He has a series that I sort of see as a step down from that. Still typically more than 10 bucks, but a little lower. They all have different diamond figures on them. Yeah. I haven't liked any of those. I like most of the ones with the devil on the ball. Whether they're this director's blend or he's got other ones that use that symbol without being like the director's blend too, I think. Don't really need to cook this sausage all the way through, but we're going to give a decent cook to it just to give it lots of nice color. Oh, you like it that much, huh, Leo? Hola, Rathawebs. Grateful to have you here. Yeah, I took 2+ years of Spanish and like none of that remains. But I appreciate you being here. Glad to have you. Hey, Mayorworts. So is your house still smelling like pickles? And do we want to switch to doing veggies? Yeah, I think we're going to go with veggies. Actually, no, we're not. We're going to grab our other cutting board for proteins. Yeah, we're going to call those there because these are going to get a lot more cooking. And now we'll switch to bacon. Or, it's not bacon, it's pork belly. And we're just going to load it up because these guys are going to shrink. And we're doing this for color yet again. Yeah, not bad for bought sausage, are they? I unfortunately don't have a meat grinder. Otherwise, I would be making my own sausages. But that's maybe in future plans here. I've anyone new into the chat today. This pork belly is off of a pig that I slaughtered here on stream back in June. It's been frozen since then. Sausages that I just bought. Not sure how I set that cam on top of the stove. It's hanging off of this thing. These things are like those metallic but flexible, so they hold in place but they're flexible. And I just sort of leave them in place because the more you use them, the looser they get and the harder they are to hold things. But they do a decent job if you're just using them with a webcam. So we'll set these off to the side, and we're going to do some veggies here. We're going to need some onion. Let's do a dice. Not exactly a small dice, but a dice. For the most part, Mayor, I don't do... I use the white onions occasionally. I got the yellow ones by mistake of order. But typically I'm using red onions unless it's something that I intend to be like uncooked. And even then I still might use a red onion. But your tried and true kitchens and all that are all primarily using yellow onions. I just like the color. They're a little bit more stronger too, but that's taste preference, and I don't mind the flavor of onion. I like onion. I don't have a girlfriend to piss off. Oh hey, those beans are starting to boil. Just a little salt there. My salt container's getting low here. Use up the last of this junk salt. Do not buy this salt. This stuff is junk. Do not buy this. I've explained it a couple times why I think it's junk. I'll do it again here. Look at the sizing on that salt. How is that kosher salt when half of it is like fine salt and then you get like giant chunks in it? It's so improperly sized. And if you know salt, you know size matters. And that's because different sizes are going to impact your flavors differently. They're going to be bolder or less. That's why you have table salt instead of kosher salt at the table. And so yeah, that was completely different from, say, this, which this is the kosher salt you guys are probably used to. That's all one size, basically. I'm basically cooking the beans over here to the side to save us some time tonight. If you really want to do this from basics and you got time, you're not doing a stream, I would go ahead and wait on those beans and actually cook those beans entirely in with all this loveliness that we're going to add in here. Two types of here. And because I have it, we're going to substitute some parsnip for our carrot. And we got some celery. We got a beautiful bunch of celery from the farmer's market, not the supermarket. These came from the farmer's market. Cassoulet. It's a French dish. It's typically a baked dish. It's a baked bean dish. Much like chili here in the States. there's 101 people with 101 different definitions for what it should be. But the basic sort of setup is we've got pork. You typically have pork skin. I was saying before, I'd like to have some pork skin, but I don't have any. Beans, typically some sort of sausage or, force meat, and sometimes you'll see chicken thrown in there as well. And it's just slow cooked into deliciousness, often for hours in the stove or in the oven. Perfect slow cooker dish. Not going to. Oh, let's give these a good clean off though. This farm I relatively trust to properly clean their produce. It doesn't look hugely clean, but they're doing good stuff. And in other words, I don't think my cleaning is going to do much to improve this, short of skinning them, which I like leaving the skin on most of my veggies if I can. And so we're going to leave the skins on for these. But as to the origins of cassoulet, I'm not 100% sure on that, Leo. And what limited research I did before the stream didn't include that. And yeah, let's quarter these two. And I'm going to go pretty thin on these because these are more fibrous than carrots. If you haven't worked with parsnips, they're very sort of stringy almost. They're not going to give you a great mash without being strained. Although they do make a great mash. As I said before, so you're going to treat your meat like a toddler. If it stops making noise, you should start getting worried. And these are getting to the point where they're decently steered. Battle? Did I miss the battle cue? I must have missed the battle cue. Let's do our battle. And as usual, or as is now usual, we're going to run our 1 minute ad. Just cut this one last parsnip while we're waiting for them to come back. I forgot to switch that. I realized the timer is working off of, I saved the file for the timer on a cloud folder. So that's probably what's messing my timer up there. Alright, let's do our battle. It's me versus everyone. No chance. Boo! I didn't have any help. Let's try that one again. We'll just do that this time. Make it a little quicker and dirtier. Since we're not worried about this bacon being only partially cooked here, I'm going to take that and pull that off here. Why is that so dark tonight? What's going on here, camera? That's weird. I'm just going to pull this off and put it back in the same pan. Still got some of the fresh juices in there. That felt good. Yay. That one got me in my face. That was not fun. Cheers. Drinking myself a can of yerba mate. Get a little caffeine jolt going here before we start in on the wine. We got our beans nice and foamy over here. They're still cooking at a low temp. And this is on the lowest setting that I can get it because we need to do a couple more things before we add more into that pan. Let's go a little heavy on the garlic here. I don't hugely trust this head of garlic, so I sort of want to use it up too. It's got some discoloration. Yeah, I got popped there, Leo. It's not fun getting... I can handle hot oil on my hands and my arms, especially if it's just like a drop or something like that. When it starts popping towards your eyes... And I have gotten hit by applying hot oil in the eye before. It is not fun. I thought I had done damage, but by the end of the evening I was feeling fine. Eye didn't give me any issues. But it worried me at the time. That was a while ago. Four minutes of just me peeling and cutting cloves of garlic? Since when do I cook? I've been cooking most of my life. I really got into cooking after high school. I started in a local small college. Went through a number of majors. Started off as a computer major. And went through different computer stuff. And just realized that, well, it transitioned from not wanting to do, like, classes on dead coding languages. You know, like, you had to take BASIC in order to learn Visual Basic. Just teach me Visual Basic. And you had to take... I forget what half of them were, but you had to take classes in languages that I was never going to use, just to get into the classes for languages that I wanted to learn. And so I ended up skipping computer, moving on to other things, and I tried a couple of different things, and I found myself in the culinary classes. Absolutely loved hanging out there. Time just flew whenever I'm in the kitchen. Still does. And, yeah, I've been there ever since. But, not really in high school. High school, I was still on that computer path. High school, I was trying to be a web designer and a whole bunch of other stuff. That was a long time ago. Hey, Head Mama Bear. Caraway. Nice Tahiti lady. Still start getting used to the new grind on this knife. Doesn't pull very well. It's slicing through very well, but I intended to have this one work a little bit better coming back this way. It ain't doing it. So we're going forward tonight. Just a little bit of garlic. It's not a 40 clove chicken, but a decent amount of garlic. I don't know if to take that as a compliment or not, Ratty Webs, because cutting fast is not necessarily a good thing. Let's get going on sauteing some of this veg. We still got a mildly warm pan here. Yeah, we're going to add more fat to this party, so we're going to remove a little of this first. Also going to be careful to wipe any excess oil off of the side here. You do not want fire coming up that side. was in college, I was at the Culinary Institute. That actually happened. They closed a number of kitchens for lunchtime. Let's not get into all of that. In other words, the classroom had been a kitchen classroom, was completely locked up, doors closed, all that good stuff. They had left a pan that they were using to fry on the stove. There, just on the side of the stove, and just a drip on the side of that pan of oil caught the pilot on the stove. And that kitchen was done for, I think it was done the rest of the time I was at the college. It took them forever to fix that room. Well, that's sort of the problem, because faster is not necessarily better, because you're usually, if you're going fast, usually trading both consistency, which, you know, I wasn't exactly too consistent there, or you're trading your safety. Certainly don't want to trade your safety. So we got some garlic going here, in with all the good bits down here from the bacon and that sausage. We'll add our onions. But otherwise, I appreciate the compliment. Let that go while we do a little celery here quick. Celery I'm probably going to have to wash here. Like I said, these guys do a good job cleaning their stuff, though. It's better than supermarket celery. Flavor is going to be light years better. But just I mean, how often do you see this fresh? Problem with celery is you get a decent amount of dirt caught down in sort of like the cups. The rest of it's usually pretty fine, pretty well, pretty good. Let's see here. Not saving the tops tonight. Started off thinner than I wanted to here, so I'm doing a little thicker now. I can tell that pan with the onions behind me has gotten too cold from the lack of sizzle. Let's give that a stir up, see what we get. Nope. Do I want to do more celery? I think we got enough veggies. And celery is on the lower list of the list of things I appreciate in the veggie world. Although, yeah, it's on the lower end. It's pretty good if you get it from a farmer's market, but celery from the supermarket it just tastes like dirty water. It's ugh. So I'm going to crank the heat up on this a bit. Yeah, Leo, it's well, one, if you're growing your own stuff and you're familiar with it, you then can make it better because you'll know that your carrot has this type of sweetness and doesn't work well in such and such dish. And that's sort of the problem, my problem with a lot of food these days, is it's all designed to be all the same, all the time, no matter where you are. That McDonald's cheeseburger is, well, it's become less of that, but when the fast food companies all went international, it was, we're bringing U.S. cheeseburgers to Russia and stuff like that, and it's just not the way nature works. The idea that you're going to be able to produce something in a different part of the world when you have so many different things affecting what you're growing is silliness. So I obviously added the celery in there. Parsnips I'm partly using because I'm using red wine instead of white wine. These are going to give us some little lightness. It's going to brighten up our things a little bit more than celery would, or carrots would. I'm tired of waiting. Tired of waiting. Wow, was that loud? Exactly, Leo. But I bet you still liked them, didn't you? Too far of a stretch for you? Too big of a word for you? I know a couple of them are up there. Let's add a bit more salt. Interesting. Did I already have that word in my... Nutraceuticals are products other than nutritional which other than nutrition are also used in medicine. And so it's defined as a substance which has physiological or provides protection against chronic disease. I just Googled it. You guys could have probably done that too, but... sausage slicing time. Yeah, so these aren't fully cooked anyways. Oh, they might be, but they're on the edge. They're still pink. People commonly think of pink as undercooked, which isn't always true, especially with chicken. You get those thighs at just that perfect temp, that perfect 165, which is the government, you have to do it at 165. You'll still have pink meat in the thighs of a chicken. Hey, Head Mama Bear. Crispy treat was... Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for that raid, Metro. How was the rest of your Green Hell stream? At least I think that's the name of the game. Your survival Amazon game you've been playing the last week or two. Welcome in, everyone. We're doing a Stovetop Cassoulet tonight, which is essentially a bean and pork stew. It's got, much like barbecue in the U.S. here, it's a French dish with 101 different ways to do it, and every one of them is wrong, or right, depending on... Hey, I am lukewarm. So we got some Italian sausage. We've got some pork belly that I gave a... That's looking a little dark there, but it's not burnt. That I gave a crisp up to. And so we're having these two, and we're going to stew these along with a whole bunch of white beans and the veggies in the pan. And add some wine. It's just going to be yumminess. Oh, is he teasing you, lukewarm? I can tease you too. Ew, beans. I'm gonna throw this out. I'll be right back. Yeah, pork belly. And start by adding this back in with the veggies here. Pork belly I don't mind cooking for a long time. That's just gonna at worst break down to too much oil than I want. This is also traditionally a dish that sort of, you put it all in a big cast iron or big crock pot, and you just throw it in the oven and let it go. And I've done it that way back mixer days. I've done that on stream bake style. It's not nearly as fun for you guys to just say, oh hey, I'm throwing all these things in a pot and throwing them in the oven for 2 hours. I'll see you guys then. Beer braised pork belly as a topping on your burger. What type of beer? Make sure we don't got anything stuck to the bottom here. Doesn't go there. These we're going to set off to the side. We're going to check what I'm missing other than wine here. Probably some seasoning. Definitely need some pepper and some MSG in that pan. The heck? Oh, I don't need that. Windows, you annoying. I hate you, Microsoft. Got all that good stuff in there. That we can add in there. That's something that I should have added in there before the bacon, but we can do that now. I think we're good with that. We're gonna add a little. We're gonna do a little pinçage. Pinçage is a. Typically, you do a pinçage for a very dark meat stock, like a veal stock or beef stock or something along that line. And what you'll do is, instead of adding tomatoes to a dish, because adding tomatoes are going to add a lot of moisture and they're expensive, we're going to add some tomato paste. And that paste is going to cook and give us much of the richness that tomatoes would. We really don't want the texture or anything in there. So let's give this a good squeeze in there. That's going to coat everything in here, and it does mean I have to have that wine ready here soon. So next step here is definitely going to be opening that bottle of wine that I was talking about before. This is wine that I've had before on stream. I haven't had it. I don't know if I've had it in 2020. If I had it, I think I've had it in 2020. Thank you for that follow, True Sensitivity. Sensitivity. I like that play on words. Why am I grabbing scissors to open the wine? I don't know. I intend to. But as I was saying before, this is a Francis Ford Coppola wine, who owns several vineyards, but this is his, it's his own name vineyard. It's his main vineyard. And they have 3 wines, I think, in supermarkets. And this is sort of like their mid-grade. I don't know why I sniffed the cork. It's an old... Sniffing the cork does nothing. You're not going to get a good portrayal of the wine. You're just going to smell a cork. And at best, if you're experienced sommelier, I can never pronounce that word right, you'll maybe be able to detect funk on the cork. But that's something that trained nose is going to be able to do. Yeah. Leozio, I think you should just substitute grape juice in this case. I think that's going to be just as good for you. Well, that's the old trope, Leozio. And yeah, if you're an experienced sommelier, you know what the funkiness of a bad cork smells like. Yes, that can tell you that you have a bad wine. Your average person, it's going to mean nothing to them. Now that smells completely different from that cork. And that smells lovely. I already know that I'm going to like this, because I've liked the past years. No, that's not true, Leo. Wine is one of those things where a lot of people get burnt on it quickly because it is a rare thing that it works beautifully. But that once in a blue moon that you get that perfect food and wine pairing, you'll never stop. You'll keep searching. You'll keep looking for the next one. And that's where I am. I'm absolutely in that pursuit of that beautiful food and wine pairing that so rarely happens. Probably be a lot better at it if I didn't, decide on dinner and then look, oh, do I have a wine that works? But that's where I am too. So we're continuing to get some beautiful color down here on the bottom of this pan. We're not done searing all this stuff. But we're getting there now. Because now we're going to add the wine. We're going to pull up the last of this beautiful flavor on the bottom of the pan there. Now, I appreciate a great mixed drink. And a good mixed drink can pair with a wine or pair with a dinner. Yeah, mixed drinks pair with wine. But it won't. I've never had a cocktail just completely change what I'm eating and revolutionize what that dish was to me. And wines have done that for me. And again, like I said, it's a rare thing. It's like that, finding that tomato that biting into is like eating straight sauce. It happens. You can find them, especially if you know where to look. But yeah, the percentage of them that are going to be doing that for you, very small. That's true. There are a fair number of ones that are, I wouldn't say bitter, but the tannins off of the tannin is very bitter-like. You get that, like, dryness in the back of your throat. That's your tannins working on you. A lot of people mistake tannins for dryness in a wine because the way, or rather, a lack of acidity in a wine, when really the way you tell your acidity in a wine is how much it's making your mouth water. Which, my mouth is watering, but I am also getting that dry palate. Got dry mouth. Well, I would actually suggest this one to you. It's not really a wine, but it is a wine at the same time. I'd get yourself a tawny port. And this bottle is probably a $35 bottle. And that's because this is also 20% alcohol. Or at least 19%. I wasn't sure of the specific one. But they're practically hard alcohol. But the flavor is going to be more like a raisin to you. You get a lot of that... a lot of those same raisiny flavors. And because it's so high alcohol, you don't have to drink it all in one night. That's a wine that you can leave it on your shelf for the better part of a month without worrying about it too much. You don't want to refrigerate it. Beyond that, I would have suggestions for your Metro, but it would have to be like combos, like what we're working with, what you're drinking, what you're eating. There's some famous ones out there, like Rosa Regal is a nicer wine. It's a sparkling wine. It's typically sold in half bottles with the dessert stuff, and it's a rosé wine. It is just about the only wine that I have that is just like perfect with chocolate. So that's one if you want to have a little chocolate and wine with someone, maybe. You can give that one a try. It's not going to be the cheapest, but it's tasty. Okay, I think we're good here. We're going to add our beans to the party, which I've had hanging out over here. They've been slow cooking next to this. I realized doing this that you guys haven't seen this if you've just been joining in. But we're going to add all of this, the liquid and all. So that completely changed that dish. And so other than some herbs that I'm about to add in now, this is almost done here. This just needs to simmer for a while. If you want to use chicken stock instead of water for your beans, that'll give you some added flavors, especially if you're doing... Some people put chicken in their cassoulet. If you're doing chicken stock is perfectly good in there. It was just water. It was the water that I actually used to soak the beans overnight, and then I cooked them in it. So there's tons of bean flavor in there. It's probably going to thicken up a little bit too, because the beans were in there. But yeah, it's just bean soaking liquid. Also traditional for this wine is white wine, not red wine. I'm just doing red wine because I have red wine. I didn't have a bottle of white to work with tonight. This is on the lighter end of red wines, but it's not a rosé either. It's definitely a red. Oh, I got the big one for stews. That one's just in cast iron, stainless steel. I have lots of pots. Oh, it's looking like I'm going bald tonight. My hair isn't. I'm not going bald. And it's not like I'm saying someone's saying that to prove it to themselves. It just looks horrible on camera. Oh, battle. Okay, ad time. So we're going to let that simmer while we're... Non-subs are in the ad here. We're going to let that simmer here. We're going to add the sauce. Let's add the sausage in there. Allow that to cook in with all this deliciousness too. My timer didn't work this time. A samurai haircut? I'm not quite sure where you're going there. Oh, you mean like should loop my hair or something? Braid it and loop it like the samurai do? No. Not opposed to finding a reason to cut it. If any of you guys got, idea. But, otherwise it's just been... I don't like dealing with my hair. I don't like having to go and get it cut. And the minor day-to-day of tying it is less of an issue for me than going and getting it cut. Rice pool. I could, Leo. I tried one charity stream and I didn't really have much in the way of rewards, but it just didn't work out very well. I don't know if I'm really the charity type of guy. Not that I don't support charities. I just don't know that I'm streaming for charity kind of guy. I given to charities last year. I haven't done anything yet this year, but I fully support charities. I just don't know that I'm necessarily a great spokesperson for them. That's not a good habit that I have, but I do that. So let's run our battle. I'm sure everyone's back by now. It's been over a minute. think we got this one. Doing a lot better than the last one. Big worry of these guys here. These guys are hard hitters. I think we got it. Death Knights are going after the rogue. That's funny. I didn't notice that they do that, but they were making like a beeline for the rogue. Victory. Nith with the kills. Osmeth with the assists. Leo, Zeo, and Fanged Mermaid with the rewards. Congrats, guys. Ooh, now, which way we go? We go for the gold chest? I'm thinking we go for the gold chest. I think we go for the gold chest here. I don't think this even really needs to be a discussion. Put my tank here. Have you guys build up back here. And we'll just do that. Alright, back to cooking. So we've got our cassoulet going here. This is going a bit hotter than I want it to. So we're going to reduce the temp on this a bit. By the way, not bad for eyeballing. I think this will fit. We're going to add a couple of bay leaves. Do I have any saved there? Nope. Guess I'm going to have to get some fresh dried bay leaves. These have been sitting without water here for, probably a month and a half now. It's been a while since I've got fresh flowers. I typically get fresh flowers when they're available at the farmers markets. But got a couple of these. We'll throw those in there. I think the recipe calls for 3 of them. I'm going a little bit heavier on them because after trying these, I absolutely love these. I don't know if they're the same as other bay leaves, but these give some great flavor to whatever I've used them for. Okay. Next project is salad time. Actually, first we're going to add some thyme to this because I keep forgetting the herbs. I still have my container of thyme? What did I do with my container of thyme? I thought I still had that. Use that with the salad tonight. I guess we'll use a little parsley in there. Thank you for the follow, Druzy Jones. Welcome in. Glad to have you. How is your evening going? I'm enjoying this lovely cab sav. We're going to do a quick chop up of a little parsley to throw in there. Just going to do sort of rough chop, not doing super fine here. And I'm cheating by just stealing the tops. We'll let that cook in with all this too. to steal a little bit more of this for with our next project. And the rest of it we're going to save for and a little finer for this next batch. That's probably good. The rest of this we're saving for hot chocolate night, which is coming up on Sunday. Sunday. Celebrating National Hot Chocolate Day with... I'm going to do chicken, I'm going to do roast potatoes. I don't know what else I'm going to do that night. I've got a nice head of cauliflower. Probably going to do roasted cauliflower along with that. Should be awesome. Nice Tahiti lady. Nice, Juicy Jones. Well, welcome in. I'm going to do some more of the greens off of these. Stealing those. This is all going to be for our salad dressing tonight, which I'm working on here next. Making mayo yet again on stream, but doing a smaller batch here tonight. You specifically looking at cooking streamers or looking at different types of operations too? There's all sorts of streamers here on Twitch. Sort of doing a ranch dressing tonight, but without the dill. Don't have a command set up for that Tahiti lady, but enjoy your lurk. Nice. Well, I don't know that you will enjoy it, but I hope you enjoy your meeting. Do I still have slaw? Yes, I still have slaw. I didn't make it through that other batch. I still have... a little bit left. I ate some of it last night. We got another. That's going to be Sunday, I think. I think I'm going to roast that guy on Sunday. But next we need to do our mayo. Actually, let's do a little cleanup here. We're sort of waiting now. I want to give this at least an hour and a half here. But I'm going to be making salad. I'm going to be doing a couple other things. But we're sort of half in a holding pattern here, waiting for this guy. I'm getting to the point where I almost just want to give up on trying to quit using the word guy, because I don't use it with the sense that it's male. I just use the word guy in a generic sense for just about everything. I do know that bothers... I've noticed a couple of people do, like, side comments, like, not everyone's a guy. That sort of a thing. So I apologize to them. I'm just... It's ingrained. Look behind me. What's behind me? Someone tried that on me a long time ago. Nearly got me. Like, right when I first started streaming. They're like, what's that person behind you? Oh, the beans were you worried they were boiling too hard? I have the advantage of being able to see the beans right there. And actually, typically over there. But I appreciate the assistance. Sprayer's loud, but it's always the best for getting stuck on grease and fat. Yeah, I got stuff on the floor. I just mopped the floors. Which actually, I'm sort of working on one of those intro vids. I'm not going to leave it on like you have to watch this to watch my video, but I was having fun with that the other night when I was mopping up the kitchen. Trying to do some recording in here when I'm not streaming. I don't do a lot of video stuff, and so I don't do a lot of stuff like that. So it was fun doing a little offline streaming. And do I want to say, yes, let's save the fat. Save your fat. Also want to keep any oil splatter or anything of that line going on. I keep my stovetop pretty clean, but you don't want buildup of oils and stuff on your stove. Just asking for trouble. Still a couple more things to clean. How you doing tonight, Jersey Jones? We've now entered, and so it should come up with a scrambled word for you. It repeats once every 6 minutes, I think it's set right now. And then it's originally designed to be a people activate it and people gamble with it sort of a thing. I just tried to turn it into a there's randomly a scrambled word available for you guys to try and guess every once in a while. There's a slight bonus for getting it right. That's the hardest one I have seen. And so it's a little wonky still with it. But they're all food related, so the idea was equally a small little game and chat that people can get involved in and maybe give us a little conversation on what we're talking about. Yep. I did that because, I mean, there's websites out there, you know, unscramble this for me. And I figured if I did it multi-language, at least make it a little bit harder for some of you guys. I just have a basic mild Italian sausage. I actually bought that sausage. There's pork belly in there from a hog that I slaughtered on stream back last summer. And, yeah. So, purchased sausage and self-butchered pork belly. Let's use this guy. Next topic here. We're going to be making our mayo. The mayo is going to be used for making our sort of ranch dressing tonight. So I'm going to crack an egg, but I'm just going to save the yolk out of it. Just toss it back and forth between my hands here to get all that other stuff off of the beautiful yolk. Well, this follows for tonight too. I'm actually going to go even cheaper with tonight's mayo because it's going to be part of a dressing. And it's not even going to be a huge flavor contributor. So we're skipping the olive oil entirely tonight. Using a smaller bowl, so we'll throw a towel underneath there. Grab our medium-sized whisk. No, those are not navy beans. They're, oh, what type? Cannellini. So pretty common white bean. Navy beans, I believe, have a spot on them. Sort of like the, I had some European soldier beans that I used earlier this year. I think I used those, yeah, I used those on the first. Those had spots, I think, like navy beans do, but they were brown instead of... Well, it minimizes the noise, but it keeps it from going all over the place when I... You notice how yellow that is right now. You see how white it gets just from adding oil. Actually, adding oil isn't going to turn it that white. What's going to turn it white is adding water. Which, if you notice how white mayo is when you're at the supermarket, now if I added just olive oil, this would be practically green when we're done. But canola, we might end up with a somewhat yellow mayo tonight. That looks like it works. Let's see what it is. Oh. And yeah, I haven't gone through and done, like, I have a list of words that's going on there. There is very much the possibility that there can be words on there that are scrambled the same and they don't work at the same time. I haven't come across any of them, but there very much is a possibility that there are words that are going to be scrambled that you could turn into other words. Yeah, dribbled over a little. That was messy. It's been a minute since I checked my battle. How are we looking on our battle here? Oh, hey! That's why I haven't heard anything from the battle. I get to update. But whenever it decided that I needed to update, we still had 6 minutes, so you might have a moment to add something in there. Hey, Trigger. How you doing tonight? Anything new to report with the fish tank? Or your life? Again, using coated whisk with metal bowl so we don't get gray looking mayonnaise. Don't get grayonnaise. Went to school and went to look at a few houses with my parents after my class. Oh, your parents and gonna be buying a new place? Okay. Now we're thickened up to the point that it's all sticking to the whisk. Add a little water. And you'll see how white this turns now. Oop, that was a bit much on the water. Pour a little of that out. There we go. So just a little water there. Now our yellow mayo is white. Still a little yellow. Went from organic to... Leo, I missed your first message. I was saying hi to Trigger. Yeah, I threw some tape over it. We still got the organic. Actually, this is organic too. It's mostly cut off. There's organic there. But this one's marked off too, but that one's organic. You don't have to buy everything organic. In fact, I suggest you don't buy everything organic. But in general, maybe so. But there's certainly things like pineapples that are... It makes no sense for you to buy an organic pineapple over a conventional pineapple. There's a number of them there that way. Okay. So now I have to definitely have to finish my installation of Stream Raiders. So it's going to be a moment here for that to finish installing. Now I'm getting pretty heavy-handed there with the oil. But we've got our emulsion largely locked in by adding that water. So I'm not too worried about it breaking at this point anymore. Finish the install. Start the program. Wait for it to give me that loading bar that you guys all probably love. Loading, 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 loading. Oh hey, it's the Tomblands. Got our new season here going on with Stream Raiders tonight. We're moving on from... Oh, what was the last one? The like retro one. But ad time. Be back in a minute, guys. Tomblands. 27 days. Earn tokens by winning battles. Tomblands tokens unlock rewards. You get event badges. Skins. More skins. Got another 30 seconds there, so I'm going to continue whipping my mayo while we wait for everyone to come back. Druzy, this is Stream Raiders. It's a game that's done across Twitch. There's several thousand streamers, I think, at this point that play it. And so you can build up your own armies online using streamraiders.com. The address will be there at the end, or will be in chat in a moment. And you can build up your own army. You can play for free. You can play with 3 different streamers at the same time. You want to pay them some cash, you can add a 4th to that. Victory! QNS2 with the kills and assists. Just walking away with everything there today. Head Mama Bear and Leo Zio with the rewards. Congrats. I'm going to take that gold and that skin. Do we want to keep going here tonight? I think we want to keep going here. I think we're going to finish this map out. So let's go ahead and add my tank. We'll do this one the same way as the last one. We'll add in the don't go here and don't go there. We want to add some rogues into that side. Go ahead and we'll put the majority of our people down here, work our way around. But yeah, Druzy, you're welcome to join in. The link there is now in chat if you want to join directly into my game. And you can add 1 player to the field every 5 minutes. And the more you add players to the field, the more you level up your characters. The more powerful they are, the more different types. You get more characters, different types of characters as you level up. And now there's quests and other things they're building into there. They're continuing to upgrade this game. And I also know that they're working on building... Well, they have a PvP version of the game now. And I know that they're working on... I think they're working on a completely separate complementary concept that they can work with. So they're still hard at work. So we'll go back to our mayo and making our dressing for tonight and probably tomorrow's salads. I got a big, beautiful bunch of lettuce here that we're working with. Or a bunch of mesclun mix. But and I'm mostly adding oil at this point to get this the thickness I want, because we want our ranch to have some thickness to it. We want a thick sauce. And beside, I'm gonna go mayo and sour cream tonight. Typically a buttermilk if you're doing ranch. But you guys are all, well, I love you, lurkers. Dietetic. Is there really anything that's truly dietetic? I mean, I guess if you eat something that kills you, what out there actually purposely makes you lose weight? Or am I getting that word mentality wrong? I mean, there can be foods that work with a diet, but is that a dietetic food? Just one egg yolk. I could probably double the amount of oil that's in there still. Is it a field of study? That makes more sense. Study of diets. There's one that I don't know how I have in this list. I should have gastronomy in that list. Do I have gastronomy in that list? Dietetic foods designed as food products designed for special dietary requirements. Well, isn't that some word cancer? Shouldn't say that. Isn't that some... Isn't that a jumble of words? I don't know if that really... Like I was saying before... That's our last pour of oil here. Way to put your foot in your mouth there, Jay. I don't agree with the idea of calling things cancer. I have bad habits that I don't agree with. So there's our mayo for tonight. We're gonna go ahead and add some seasoning in here. Start with some cayenne. little onion powder. A little bit of mustard. A little dried oregano, which this isn't ranch again. This is Jason dressing. And healthy dose of healthy doses of salt, MSG, because there's MSG in ranch, guys. Nuts and nuts of pepper. Anyone else's arms getting tired? Oops. Strangely did not get anything on my grinder doing that. We'll mix all that in there. We'll add our green stuff. Why am I going to regret all that pepper? I love pepper. See, do I still have that, or did I toss that? I do still have that. We're gonna cheat. Well, you could call it cheating. I didn't really plan to add this in there, so I don't know if it's really cheating if you didn't plan to use it. But I have some buttermilk powder. This is just Bob's. But I've had this kicking around for a while. So that should give us our buttermilk tang. I'm also going to add a little vinegar. That's starting to look like a cassoulet. You're supposed to have that nice deep dark top to it. And that's sort of the thing with doing it in the oven, is you're not stirring it up, and that's why I'm not stirring it really right now. We want this to just cook, just hang out, be happy, have a good time. Thin this out slightly with the vinegar. It's sort of a ranch. It's not a ranch, though. I think of ranch as having dill. And so I started off with saying, I'm not going to have dill in this. But otherwise, it's pretty close. We're not there yet, Leo. But giving it a taste after all that spice would be a good idea, but I'm going to wait until I add in the sour cream, because the sour cream's going to dull a lot of that flavor. So it's not going to give you the proper flavor on it. on it to begin with. Additionally, you should always try your salad dressings with a piece of lettuce. Add about a quarter cup in here. There we go. There's our homemade ranch. Without dill. And homemade mayo instead of bought mayo, and sour cream and mayo instead of buttermilk and... Ooh, that's got a nice tang to it still. Want to add more salt? Bring out some more of those flavors that I know are in there. Got a little bit of that mustard and MSG. Not much of that herbiness, which is going to take a little time to seep in there. And yeah, sort of tempted to maybe throw a little hot sauce or something in there, but let's give that another shot. Oh, it wasn't a good shot. Not too shabby. I can live with that. It's better than your store-bought ranch. Tell you that much. All that onion powder in there, it's a little like onion and ranch potato chips, or sour cream and onion, or maybe a bit heavy on the onion for a ranch, but not for me. Sour cream. I don't know why, but the lovely ladies that go to the supermarket for Strauss never have the small container of sour cream. I always have to get it if I'm getting... I typically buy my sour cream from the store for that same reason. I buy a lot of stuff from the farmers... Well, before last year, I bought a lot of stuff from the farmers markets. And one of the things that I never used to was sour cream. I picked it up today because I was there. But, like I said, they have... That's a pint. And it's 16 ounces of sour cream. That's quite a bit of sour cream for... I'm happy with that. I'm good with that. That's good. Good. Grab ourselves a couple of regular carrots here. I think I said I wasn't going to peel these, but I am. I changed my mind. Nope. It's still muskrat. What? Oh yeah, one of the words was they eat muskrat in the South in the U.S. It's a U.S. thing. You had COVID come up and all these people talking about the markets they have in China. We're just as bad. think it was 2 years ago. I was in the Central Market, which is Detroit area's like farmers market area, or it's where all of their like food businesses are. And they had raccoon for sale. But yeah, we eat all sorts of weird stuff in the States too. I mean, some of it you just think, I mean, I did lobster the other day. Lobster's just a bug that's in the water. It's just a big bug in the water. Same thing with crabs and all that. I think of scrod as being an actual fish, though. But, yeah, scrod is usually a pretty cheap thing, too. Cheap often translates to questionable source. Seen in Hocus Pocus. I haven't seen Hocus Pocus. I used to watch a lot of movies in 80s, 90s, maybe early aughts. But I haven't seen... I mean, I could probably count in my two hands the number of movies that I've seen since like 2008 or so. Yeah, I pretty much got out of college and we gave up on all the fun stuff. I gave up on games, I gave up on movies. Gotta be a successful person. Gotta kick ass and take names in the business world. Live your lives, guys. Enjoy your life. Don't try and... It's like the mentality of so many people in the culinary industry that we're badasses and we're going to cook your ass off and we'll do it after a 16-hour shift. It's bullshit. You're wasting your life. If you got to do it for the money, you got to do it for the money, but if you got a choice in life, choose something else. Thanks, Noisy Peta. How you doing tonight? We got our sort of ranch dressing going on here. No dill in there. And I made my own mayo. And I used sour cream instead of buttermilk. Did add some buttermilk powder, so we still get that buttermilk or yogurt tang. But none of that. And we got our cassoulet going on the stove here. This is just slowly cooking. Got that nice crust developing going on there. But that's just beans, pork belly, and some leftover Italian sausage that I had hanging out. We got a pretty decent cab sauv. which I've had this before. I knew I was going to like this, but it's been a bit smoother drinking than I expected. I remember this being a bit more, hey, you're drinking something. Yep, it's cast iron. It's the one that I use for my bread all the time. I think, yeah, it's a combo set. Not sponsored by Lodge, but I love this cast iron set. But you got your top, which doubles as a nice quick saute pan, but cast iron. And this bad boy here, which it's got, what, 4.5 inches there of depth on the outside. So it's a nice cast iron for this. Now, see, I was saying earlier, I think of Cassoulet using white wine. White wine? What's white wine? White wine. Leo Zio is jealous of all my cast iron. Though if charcoal wins this week's ingredient challenge, we do have the ingredient challenge going on in Discord right now if you guys are interested. Next Wednesday I'm going to have to cook with either nori sheets, which is currently being royally defeated by charcoal. And it's looking like we're going to be cooking with charcoal on Wednesday, but I actually already ordered it this morning because it's already dominating the vote so much. But, stop me. Cast iron emote. What would you suggest for a cast iron emote? I mean, it's a metal. A black pan? Ugh. As an ingredient, I bought a bag of activated charcoal. Probably something on that list of dietetic foods. Cast iron emote with my logo. Yeah, Noisy Peta. Gonna definitely have to add some flavor to that. The primary thing that I've seen sort of scanning stuff that charcoal's used for is turning things black. So, yeah. Well, it's charcoal too, so there's not a ton of flavor there really anyways. It's actually, from my limited memory, a rather neutral flavored thing. Doesn't add a whole lot of like smokiness or anything to it, like you might think it. I think I'm a little coleslawed out. Might make a salad, but don't think it's gonna be coleslaw. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Do a little more cleanup here. We're pretty much set. I'm just letting this cassoulet cook a little bit longer here. I did end up finishing up the ramen Krispies that I was posting on Discord this morning. I had the last of it for like lunch. Actually, it was like sort of my lunch today. The last like quarter of it. And when I was eating it, I realized I could taste the oil. I could taste the like oil from that they'd used to process the ramen, and it just sort of ruined the whole thing. Even though it was so, I mean, packed with marshmallow and caramel that you almost don't care, it just gave you this like oily aftertaste. It just sort of gave you that like ugh feeling. Yeah, I need a bit of a slaw break. We've gone 2 weeks here when I've made coleslaw, and not exactly small batches either. I've done a whole head of cabbage both times. But definitely trying to do more salads here. We're doing a salad here tonight. I've got enough salad greens to last me a better part of a week. So, that'll be good. But if you guys are huge fans of nori sheets, please go and vote in there, because right now it's not looking too good for you nori fans. Let's see what the vote. Do I want to? I don't want to open Discord right now. How we looking in our battle? We got 2 minutes left in our battle. Last chance you guys get another player on the field there. I seem to remember there being like some smokiness to this wine. There's no real. It's just all berry and dark fruit and. Yeah, it's just all dark fruit. There's no real wood on the nose. It's definitely there in the palate. It definitely is hitting me with that tannin. We're down to 1 minute here on the battle, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-roll our ad. By the way, anyone new in here that hasn't been in here the last stream, I've started doing ads in my stream, doing a minute ad every 30 minutes, and that should eliminate just about all of the pre-rolls. Might be a couple of you guys still getting a pre-roll here and there. Let me know if you do. Let me know if you do after they're all gone. Yeah, I definitely need to move where I'm holding that overlay file, because it's not showing the timer half of the time for some reason. You're not looking so clean. Let's give you a rinse up before we use you for salad. Alright, I'm hoping you guys are back. My timer didn't work for me. So let's do our battle. Oh, poor Archer's good. Oh, wow. That Archer destroyed that knight. Entropy with the kills. QNS2 with assists. Victory. See who gets the rewards. Leo Zio and QNS2. Congrats on the Flying Rogue Scrolls. Ooh, goodies for me. Goodies, goodies. Give me these goodies before the limited time event that's already over is over. And this will be our last battle of the night. Actually, we'll probably wrap this one up off. Well, maybe we'll hang out for this one. What are these guys? If I remember right, yeah, we need to kill these guys first. Would rogues go after those? Yeah. So maybe we need a couple of rogues up here and here to immediately go after these guys, because we want to get rid of these guys in the first 25 seconds. And the rest of us will do over there. And so ignore this as far as rogues, but everything else, please pay attention to it. But actually we'll do this. We'll erase a little bit of that there. Do a little of this action here. Yeah, the rest of you guys can pile up in here. Let's do a couple rogues here for these guys too. Definitely a rogue heavy map here today. We'll see how we do. Allow that to keep simmering along here. But we gotta clean the bowl. That cassoulet is smelling amazing right now. Sort of wishing I made some bread or still had that ramen bread. I made some good inroads into that, but I got rid of the rest of it this morning because it was starting to get a bit crusty. Birds are enjoying that, I believe, if they haven't already taken away. And grab myself some water too. Always good to hydrate, especially when you're drinking. Don't know how many of you are over your 30s, but when I hit 30, I just hit like a brick wall with drinking. Like, I just stopped. It was entirely because of hangovers. Because I'd drink that day, and the next day, I'd be dead to the world. And, you know, when I was in college, when I was in my 20s, no problem. Drink all evening, wake up in the morning, maybe a mild hangover, maybe a late sleep-in sort of a thing in college. But I hit 30, and it was like, okay, your hangover is lasting all day now. And so I only went back to drinking for reasons I wouldn't like to share. And I did so with a fair amount of this stuff. And I still don't drink a ton. I mostly drink on stream here. I might have a drink before I go to sleep, sort of a thing, every now and then. But pretty much, if I'm opening a bottle of wine, I'm already streaming, typically. Yum, 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 yum. That's getting tastier as we go here, and I think this is going to be absolute killer with that. I almost want to save this last half of a bottle while we're chilling out here. And yeah, I'm going to give this about 30 minutes here, so we're going to hang out here. Basically, all I got to do left is mix up our salad greens with those carrots, a little bit of dressing. And we got our cassoulet that I want to keep simmering here a little while. Let's see if I can't steal a bean out of there, though. See how we're doing on cooking our beans. There we go. No oil at all in that. What do you think? Might have to strain a little of that oil off the top here. Okay. Beans are doing better than I thought. Or rather than I expected. Still need a bit longer, though. Actually going to turn that up a slight bit to get that bubbling a little bit more. Make sure that we're cooking those in 30 minutes. This is, of course, one of those dishes that if you leave it in the oven, you don't have to worry about it. But it's one of those dishes that next day in the fridge, it's going to be even better. It's a little like stuffing. We're mixing all those things, and they're going to taste great after hanging out in the stove for an hour and a half, 2 hours here. But they're going to be really good tomorrow. Though the problem with cassoulet when it comes to that is it's not a dish that's reheated very well. Like, you can put it in an oven and reheat it with the oven heating up. That would probably work best. But putting it back on the stove like this, if you're doing oven baked one, typically you're going to have like a crust going. You're going to mess up that crust. You're going to mess up that lovely top to it. Like, people will do cassoulet and they'll take a picture of how beautiful the top of it is, sort of like they do with like paella, where they'll have, you know, all arranged seafood on top and all their things in the perfect places and all that. They'll do that with this. I'm a little too rustic to get it done for that style. I like my food a little bit more comforty. Rustic. No one can guess the word roasting. I just noticed that. Wow. That's. Come on, Druzy. Okay, maybe I'm getting a little tobacco off of the scent of this now. It's mostly just all dark fruit, though. So what's new? What's happening, everyone? What's exciting in the world? Everyone sell their GameStop yet? We have any gamblers in the crowd that are trying to make their millions with GameStop and don't realize that they're not going to be able to exit the trade at a profit? I feel so sorry. There's so many people wrapped up in this trade, and they're just not going to make any money off of it. Which is perfectly fine if you're in it for the political, let's go after the hedge funds mentality of it. But the idea that this many people are going to load into a short squeeze and are actually going to get back out of it, no. they're all going to be sitting there, and the company's going to go bankrupt, and they're still going to have shares. Yeah, there's certainly a lot of people that are in it just to make a point. And that's not really the people that I'm talking about. I'm talking about... I mean, you have the top streamers here on Twitch all talking about this because they have money. But they're all talking about it to a bunch of kids that... You know, they're risking their allowance on this equivalent. And they really shouldn't be in this. Yeah, because the people that are going to get out of the trade before it drops are going to be all the institutional people. All the people that these people hate. The brokerages, the funds that they manage, the stuff like that. That's going to get out of this trade. And then maybe we'll have like 10% of the people that are in this actually going to get out of it without a loss. But I understand at the same side, the political side of it doesn't make sense to short a stock 150, 200%. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a stock shorted more than there's more shares available. But I also don't know that I agree with the premise of it to begin with. Because, yeah, go ahead. Eat the rich, beat down these people that are just working the system. That's one thing. But the way we're doing it in a popularity contest here. Because, it's all these people following a leader. Is that really informed investing? Because I really don't see... I'm sure we'll get some, things out of Congress or that are sort of, named right. We're going to help out the small guy act. But it's not going to actually stop the short selling from stop. I doubt it will. Yeah, it looks great on paper. Yeah... I'm not planning on doing anything with GameStop, but if I was doing something with GameStop, I would actually probably short it tomorrow morning. But I don't even want to... I wouldn't suggest that to you guys. I wouldn't suggest that to anyone. But if you were doing it, that would be the play, in my opinion. Because... And I'm not a financial advisor. Don't get me in legal trouble here. I'm not someone that should be talking from... knowledge or experience, but I don't see some... I know they have to sell to get out of the trade. And so, yes, the price has to go up in order for these people to get out of the trade. But the idea that the stock is going to just stay there is a joke. As soon as people sell, everyone's going to sell. It's going to be like a falling knife. No one should be grabbing it. And knowing the stock market, it'll happen during off hours. It'll happen in the morning or it'll happen the hour after. And all of these retail investors, which is basically everyone we're talking about, retail investors are your mom and pop traders. They're not even going to have a chance. They're not even like whether they have a stop order in or not. It's just going. Radish. I had radishes on my coleslaw the other day. The Dog King coin thing just confuses me. In fact, I think it's sort of like I think someone's investing in Dogcoin in order to distract from the main event. Because there's nothing backing up. It's a meme currency. The whole idea is that it's a meme. It's fake. So the idea that it's raising in value is ridiculous. My overall theme here for investing, I mean, if you want to take any advice from me as far as investing, and again, I'm not someone you should take advice from, but if you're going to take any advice from me is ignore the popular trade. Ignore what everyone else is doing. The whole idea of investing is you're in it for yourself. And if you're following some party, you're following some popular trade, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because you can look, if you look at the stock market, if you actually take time to look at what's available on the stock market, while yes, this is making news with GameStop and a couple of these other stocks as far as the short squeeze, there's short squeezes every day of the week. There's thousands, if not millions of stocks out there. And, you know, it's just, this is the popular trade. This is what everyone's talking about. A lot of it is not worth it, Druzy, because, I mean, you're talking about, when you talk about trading individual stocks, I mean, you're trading against investing companies that are doing things like paying for satellite time. They literally track the sales at malls, how much mining companies are producing, and stuff like that using satellites. They track how many cars are in the parking lot. They track how big the piles of mining materials they've created. And the idea that you're going to have more info than them, you don't. You never will. And then the thing that really gets me when it comes to individual stocks, and the thing that's really confused me about stocks, is since the 80s, we've had the development of ETFs, or electronically traded funds. Essentially, they're a company that has decided to put out a plan for people to buy, saying, we're going to follow this set of rules, we're going to take this amount of money out of it, and we're setting that up like it's a company. And so that ETF then follows these rules to buy and sell stocks, and that in itself determines its price. And so if you've got 101 different ETFs with different reasons that they're trading, they could be trading in and out of stocks for reasons that have nothing to do with the stock itself. And so you have movement in the stock market that is just, can be completely unrelated to what you're dealing with. It's incredibly complicated. It's incredibly hard to deal with. Yeah. That I disagree with pretty hardcore, Leo. You need a lot of fucking money in order to manipulate the stock market. A lot of fucking money. Like, billions. And even then, you're probably dealing with, like even BlackRock. BlackRock being one of the biggest investment companies that moves stock around, owns, like, everything, sort of a thing. They can't really... They may be able to control individual stocks. They may be able to have influence on a market. But they can't control the public market. It's too big. The only way you're getting anywhere close to that is if you're throwing millions at a baby stock, like a penny stock. And if you're doing that, you're screwing with people's lives, to be honest. If you're trying to manipulate a stock that's a small business, it's possible, and it's done. But it's certainly not the stock market of... It's not the greed is good stock market of back in the day. Greed is still good in the stock market, don't get me wrong. But it's not a stock market where you really have... Like, you more have stories of major traders going against each other than you really have anyone controlling anything anymore. You used to have that sort of thing like 70s, 80s, earlier, where you could have an individual investor that made a mark. Oh, did I miss some bad advice? Oh, did I remove the wrong thing from my feed here? Excuse me. Hiccuping. I did. Apologize for that, Druzy. Huh. Well, Druzy, my suggestion for you, go all in on GameStop. Put every dime that you have on that stock. Because, yeah. There's people still interested in buying in tomorrow. Again, I absolutely do not recommend you touch that stock at all unless you're purposely doing it with the plans of losing that money for a political reason. It's the weekend, it's Friday, so yeah, Monday. But regardless. Oh, I don't have a good way to do that here. Let's see if I can do that here. I can't. I guess I got to do that here. But we'll go ahead and add this here. Congrats, Entropy. If you're still listening, if you're lurking around, congrats. That's too much wine for this glass, but... Let's make our salad. Let's see if we're ready for our salad. Let's give this beans another try here. Yep, Leo. Day trading doesn't make a whole lot of sense for retail investors either. I used to toy with doing day trading, and again, the idea that you're going to beat the big guys is a bit of a joke. In fact, I sort of think that the computers work against you if you go ahead and do a small enough trade. They'll sit there and toy with you. Crypto, I'm sort of torn on. Yeah, I'm cool with the idea of it being modern gold, but so far crypto hasn't lived up to its mentality of being an actual currency. We'll see how it does as far as... I mean, distributed ledger is definitely going to have a big impact on business and on a number of things, but cryptocurrencies, which are currencies based off of a distributed ledger, are, well, they haven't lived up the idea of being a currency. I toyed around with what one was that? XRP, because they're the one that I've seen the most being... The problem with XRP is it's probably never going to change price, which makes it not a good trading currency. But at the same time, it's the currency that I've seen most likely to be used as an actual currency. But at the same time, the reason that it's likely to be used, most likely to be used as a currency, is because it's going to be so steady. It's more used as a trading currency internationally than it is a currency for the average user. And so the idea that it stays steady is a good thing. But you can't trade it and make money. There was a ton of talk about Ethereum, and Ethereum may create decent offshoot products from it, but I don't think it's going to become a decent currency in itself. And it's not what I'm talking about. Banks are okay with it. Have you actually ever spent a cryptocurrency? Like, have you gone and bought something with a cryptocurrency? Or have you just traded it? Because there's tons of cryptocurrencies that you can trade, but what's the advantage of trading a cryptocurrency over something with actual value? Like, I see, again, I'm going to call it distributed ledger because it's not a currency, but I see cities using distributed ledger for real estate and stuff like that. They could be very beneficial. There's been huge uses of distributed ledger as far as ingredient tracking for corporations. Businesses are huge, food businesses are huge into distributed ledger for keeping track of, oh, okay, that green onion came from that farm. But it doesn't do much for your wallet. Yeah, you bought from, but that's just trading, Leo. I mean, trading crypto for cash is not using crypto as a currency. I'm talking about, like, when they were first big boom on Bitcoin, they were talking, like, there was videos out there, people out there thinking they were going to go and buy stuff from, like, stores and stuff like that from Bitcoin. It hasn't happened, other than small little case studies. It's not a real currency. At the same time, what the real reason that I think cryptocurrency exists right now is crime. There's a cryptocurrency ATM at practically every gas station in the world these days. And you think they're doing it there because people are actually using it for money? No, they're using it to hide shit. It's been a boom for people to use it as, okay, steal someone's info, use their info to hold your currency, and you have the access to your currency, but you're using their info. Okay, Leo. That's certainly possible you did that. But did you change it into cash before you bought those earphones? Or did you buy it from someone that's accepting crypto for earphones? Well, that would be probably a rare case. But yeah, they're... All sorts of people on tonight. Apparently Twitch streaming is trending on Twitter right now, which would make sense looking at how many people are on right now. Wow. I'm going to refresh this to see if this is up to date, but there are all sorts of people on tonight. You mean Amazon's price will go up because of Twitch? I think Twitch is sort of insignificant to Amazon. I mean, Amazon, we're talking about a company that's spent $800 million just to defeat a diaper competitor. So I think I'm going to cut it there. Let's make our salad. I've turned the heat off on the cassoulet. I'll let that coast. No, it means we're insignificant to him, Leo. I'm pretty certain. I'm almost certain that come 5G speeds, Twitch at best is going to be split up. At best. There's at the same time, Amazon is not going to pay for Amazon Live as a separate service when they have Twitch without a reason for it. And they're also not going to be changing the name of Twitch Prime to Amazon Gaming because they want to preserve Twitch. Salt our lettuce, because our lettuce doesn't come salted. This is, again, that gorgeous mesclun mix that I got from the farmer's market today. We're going to add even more pepper in with our lettuce. As if there wasn't enough in that dressing. Lots of carrot for this dressing, or for this salad. That's all going to quickly fall to the bottom unless we add our dressing at the same time. And that's a good ballpark, I think. Happy with that dressing. It turned out pretty good. Maybe a little bit onion heavy. I mean, I did hit that pretty strong with the onion powder. But, otherwise, that was pretty good mix. Now that's a peppery salad. Oh yeah. I like that. But there's pepper there. Grab a piece of cabbage. I'm even getting like the mustard, the parsley, the green onion. Everything's there. It's good. Awesome. So let's make ourselves a plate here, or rather a bowl. Start off by taking a photo of this gorgeousness. Don't need a ton of this since it's beans and meat here. So we'll leave it like that, I think. We'll do a separate bowl here with our salad. Lady fingers. Hey Perkins Zone. How you doing tonight? Welcome in. There we go. Take a photo of this deliciousness as well. Throw her knife in the photo. Awesome. Let's give this a try. I've sort of given it a try already, but cooked beans, all those veggies in there. You got a little celery in there, some parsley. I have no idea what type of meat. That's probably a piece of sausage. Nice. Beans are nice and smooth. They're going to be real creamy tomorrow morning. But right now they're just on the edge of good eating. They're not... When I was trying them first off, they were smooth, but they were still sort of like... Well, they broke apart easily like a cooked bean, but they were still gritty on the inside. They've lost that grittiness now. Oh yeah. That is yumminess. I'm very happy with that. Let's take one more shot with the dressing in there. Change cams? Okay. If I have to. But, Yeah, let's get some pork goodness in there. Little fat, little meat. A lot of fat, little meat. That chunk of fat just disappeared. Like, it didn't even enter my mind that it was in there. I actually bought most of this today, Head Mama Bear. I bought a mescaline mix from the farmer's market this morning. I added a bunch of sliced carrot. Let's throw some more carrot in the actual dressing here, or in the actual salad here. And then I made the dressing for it. So the salad's pretty simple tonight. Although, out of this I can pick, we have some oak. We have, I know we got some pea sprouts in here. They do pea sprouts all the time. There's a pea sprout. That's a pea sprout. That's, trying to remember the different lettuce blends. But we got some red cabbage in there. We got some dandelion leaves. This is a dandelion green. Dandelions. You guys all hate your dandelions growing in your yard? As long as you aren't fertilizing your yard with stuff, pick them out and throw them in your salad. But anyways, this has been great. Let me give a try the salad before we wrap up here. I already told you I like the dressing and the food with the dressing, but very happy with that salad dressing. Like I said, went a little heavy on the onion powder. Otherwise, that's like perfect. Yep, Leo. We'll make money on anything you can give us for cheap. Oh, I think I'm going to go with the regular tonight for the raid. Oh, isn't that funny? Random streamer that I don't normally watch on my follow list flipping off the camera. Let's give a raid out here, though. Awesome. So, I'm sure many of you are familiar already, but I am going to give a raid tonight to Rhino Lion. I typically do this about once a month. He is a potter from Mixer Days, so he's working on making pottery. Very interesting, different streamer from your average gamer or cooking stream. I hope you guys enjoy. I will be back here on Sunday, doing a hot chocolate on Sunday. And unless you guys go into Discord and flip that vote, we're doing charcoal on Wednesday. Maybe we do nori sheets. If you guys love nori, you love seafood, go in there and give it a vote. Might have a chance of flipping it. But like I said, we're probably doing charcoal on Wednesday. And I hope you all have a great night. Thank you for joining me. Whether you're active in chat or lurking, or I love you lurkers too. I love all you guys. I hope you all have a great night, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.